When I was 11 years old, I started using social media for the first time. AOL Instant Messenger. My screen name? Willie Style 734. Please don't ask me why. I had no idea what the digital world would open up for me. AIM turned to MySpace, and my page was obnoxious. It had a strobe light background, and the song Party Up by the rapper DMX played automatically. Many other platforms have followed, all offering me new ways to connect with people I knew or didn't. I've been trying to figure out what people are saying on social media since I was a preteen. And probably like most of us here, I've been misinterpreting what people say online for years. I can remember multiple occasions when talking with friends, receiving a fine or another single word response, and ruminating on it for the rest of the night. Come to find out the next day that I completely misinterpreted my friend's intended tone. And it hasn't gotten any easier. Now we have emojis, hashtags, GIFs, memes. So 2 years ago, I got an opportunity to turn my obsession with social media towards something a little more important. Many researchers and police departments believe that social media is playing a major role in perpetuating offline violence through cyberbanging. Cyberbanging is a type of communication where young people use threats online that have the potential to lead to violence. So what if we were able to use access to this information to prevent violence from happening? This is part of the work I do as a digital ethnographer at Columbia University. I spend countless hours sifting through social media posts. With the help of formerly gang-involved young people, myself and a team of qualitative researchers interpret communication online, looking for themes and patterns. For example, young people living in neighborhoods with high rates of violence often voice experiences of loss and trauma by grieving online. And we have found that these experiences of grief often precede more aggressive posts. Insights like this are used to train an algorithm that predicts when social media communication contains potentially threatening features. We're not the first to be doing this. There are many violence prevention organizations out there monitoring social media. However, computers using artificial intelligence are able to do this quicker. So our plan is to develop an alert system for these organizations. Once alerted, their staff can make the final on-the-ground decision whether or not to intervene. One of the major challenges with this approach is training an algorithm to understand localized language and context without learning our biases. So just as children can learn bias from their parents, algorithms can learn bias from the people who create them. They can be just as racist, sexist, and classist as we are. So we must be diligent in checking ourselves. For example, you may think this is a post about violence between gangs, rather than what it really is, lyrics to a song. Our implicit biases make it tough to uncover meaning. This is why we hire formerly gang-involved young people to serve as community experts and to help us. Through their lived experiences and expertise, they contextualize what is happening in the community, and they hold us accountable. For example, one of our community experts shared this about a seemingly threatening photo of a young person online. I cannot take this person seriously. He's holding 3 guns, and you can only fire 2 at a time. One of our community expert is sharing the nuanced difference between posturing and threatening content online. When we first encounter a post like this one, our interpretation process starts with noting the assumptions coming up for each of us. We may need to research a word we don't know, a street name that is unfamiliar. Next, we identify the contextual features, like images, videos, any offline events being referred to. The trickiest aspect is emojis. They play a pivotal role in determining meaning. Like words, emojis tend to be localized and neighborhood specific. Their use and meaning may change from block to block, person to person, like the devil face emoji. So young people in Chicago tell us the devil face emoji is used to display toughness and can be used to threaten others. However, teens in New York City tell us it has a sexual connotation. So missing these nuances can change the entire meaning of a post. Once we have the context, we determine potential threat level, taking into consideration all that we have found. Now, only about 4% of the tweets we come across are deemed threatening. And this includes more implicit threats, only understood through offline context, like this one. So you may think this is a harmless tweet about smoking weed named Kata, But Kata is not a strand of weed. Kata is a rival gang member that this user has allegedly killed. This user is disrespecting another gang and bragging about it. Finally, we apply a label to the post, like grieving, support, aggression, that represents the post's essence. These labels are used to train our algorithm. While this entire process is going on, our young experts from the neighborhood are interpreting a random sample of posts and reconciling any disagreements our researchers have in their interpretations. These young people are our feedback loop, always reminding us of the implications of our work. We have a massive opportunity to prevent violence before it happens through artificial intelligence taught to recognize and understand context. Meanwhile, more than 94% of police departments across the United States are using social media to surveil people, particularly Black and brown youth. They look through millions of posts online after violence has already happened, and sometimes arrest entire groups of alleged gang members on conspiracy to commit murder charges. You have to ask, what might they be misinterpreting? Do they think about their own biases? This is all occurring as mass shootings by white men continue to happen. Are they being digitally surveilled? We must hold police departments accountable for their digital stop and frisk practices. We must also find ways to prepare young people for online lives, making sure they understand their digital rights around what they share, preparing them for who is watching and the limitations of their privacy settings, and providing them opportunities to learn from their mistakes, rather than only offering coffins and handcuffs. Thank you.